This is Dumbline, the podcast of dumb crimes and even dumber criminals. Hello! Welcome to Dumbline, your drunk uncle's favorite bartender's favorite true crime podcast. Mike Keys was my Uncle Bill. Most of us have a drunk Uncle Bill, I feel like. He loved podcasts. His bartender loved us. My name is Greg.
I'm Jason, my Uncle Charlie's bartender. Can't get enough of us.
Uncle Charlie? Yeah. And we're joined by the Madame of the Macaroni, Maria.
Hi, dummies.
Well, the gym saga continues, Maria.
What?
It just keeps on giving. I try so hard to go to the gym, and they just give me reason not to go, whether it's people in the sauna enjoying it like it's their own place. Now they have hair dryers always plugged into the wall.
I heard this, and I'm.
That's really dangerous.
And this involves balls now.
Yeah, just hold on to your.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Sit down and hold on to this.
Just a guy
Yeah.
with a long towel talking to me and a couple other guys, shooting the shit, you know. Puts his leg up on the bench and pulls the hair dryer and just sticks it under the towel and blow dries his balls dry. I don't know why he can't use the towel. I don't know why he needs the hot air on them that other people put near their face.
Oh, my God. That's horrible.
Yeah, he's just hanging out, blow
Ew.
drying his balls.
Oh, my God.
So as somebody that like has a beard, my beard's fairly large.
Yeah.
I have to blow dry it every morning out of the shower.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because it gets curly. I got to like kind of straighten it. I like blow it out. It's a whole thing. I don't mean to digress here, but if I saw that, if I used one of those and I saw that dude putting it up by his balls, I would fucking lose it.
Yeah.
I would freak out.
But he's got a towel around him.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Does he just like the hot air on his
He
balls?
probably just likes the hot air on his balls. That's weird.
That is weird.
I mean, do that at home. I mean, do it at home. That's cool. If you want to do it at home, do it at home.
He's giving...
Yeah,
And
I
he's
agree.
just talking to you the whole time.
There's a young kid who's trying to get into med school, and he's giving him advice. He's blow drying his balls, giving this kid advice on how to get into med school.
How old's this guy?
Late 60s, early
Yeah.
70s.
Oh, man. I was totally going to...
I was picturing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think you might need to switch gyms.
It's every gym. There's a bunch of lunatics. These people who work out are crazy, and
Guys are horrible.
I just can't. You can't go in the locker room.
animals.
You can't go in the locker room. You can't go in the sauna. I guess if you stay in general population, you're fine. But weird stuff happens in the all-male sauna and bathroom. Anyway, Maria, my balls are nice and dry. You got a headline for us?
Yes, I do.
Sweet.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
This week's headline is from Court TV, Columbus, Mississippi, February 26th, 2024. Cop steals shoes from store, gets hauled off in her own squad car. An on-duty, uniformed police officer tried to walk out of Dick's Sporting Goods without paying for the shoes on her feet. She was fired and charged with a misdemeanor.
The funding is so bad down there that these cops got to steal shoes.
Does she have shoes on when this happened?
I don't know.
I wonder.
She tried them on and just wandered out.
The switcheroo. So, as an old general manager of a shoe store, this was the classic. This was the classic sneaker heist. Like you'd bring a box out, and they would just swap the sneakers and put theirs back in. And to an unknowing associate, they'd be like, "I'm good. Here, take them back." And they would walk out with like the brand new shoes on.
The old switcheroo?
The old
But you know, that
switcheroo.
kind of sticks out when you're in a uniform.
Opening those up. And
you see some radio sneakers.
Oh man.
You must have gotten so pissed.
I've seen some kids' faces just like the realization. Oh my God, those poor kids. Fucking idiots.
She just scooped up a few pairs. Be like, we're going to need these for evidence.
Why, maybe she was just wearing like black sneakers or something. And
Maybe.
she just swapped out.
Maybe. Not a lot of detail on that one.
All right, Maria. I got a shit day today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And
no.
I need a whimsical tale of stupidity, dumbness, and debauchery to get me through this.
You got it.
Sweet.
This is what happens when stupidity spreads faster than a measles outbreak. The main source for the story is the book Heist by Jeff Diamond, which was published by Source Books in 2015.
Wait,
Which
Jeff Diamond wrote
No,
a heist?
Diamond. With a T at the end.
All right.
I was going to say, which might not be too far off. So
It's not. There is one already, actually.
Yeah, I think it was in New York, right?
Texas, I think.
Okay. And they said, too, they weren't surprised, which is even greater.
I mean, okay.
Sorry,
Let's not get on that topic.
Sorry.
On October 6, 1997, David Gant is one of only 2 employees working at Loomis Fargo and Company, which handles armored vehicles and cash transportation in Charlotte, North Carolina. While David's at work, he talks to Kelly Campbell, a former Loomis coworker he's meeting with later that night.
Are they
Talks to
hooking
her on the
up?
phone?
Yeah, talks to her on the
They're
phone.
hooking up? All right.
Along with Kelly and her friend Steve Chambers, who's a bookie, a loan shark, and a check forger.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Are they hooking up?
No.
Just
David's
Whoa, bookie, loan shark, and check
forger.
check forger.
Okay.
Nobody's hooking up.
No. David kind of thinks he is.
Okay.
David,
If you're involved in armored cars here, I mean, you definitely want to hang out with a guy who's a bookie, a loan shark, and a check forger.
Yeah,
yeah.
this is that probably passes the background check.
David's after-work plan is to rob Loomis Fargo's vault.
It's a good plan.
I mean, it's something to do.
There's money there.
There is.
After he hands the money off to Steve and Kelly, he'll leave his wife behind and flee to Mexico with a new identity that Steve has provided him with.
Wait, is it
All right, that's
Stephen
pretty
Kelly and
straightforward.
Kelly Campbell?
Kelly, Steve, and David.
Kelly, Steve, and David. Okay. It's not Kelly Campbell?
Yeah, it's Kelly Campbell.
And Steve Kelly?
And Steve Chambers. Did I say
Chambers.
Steve? Yeah, Steve Chambers.
Okay.
Maybe I said Campbell by accident.
Okay.
Oh
I
man,
think you
the
said
pen,
Kelly.
the pen in the tree is going.
Yeah, man. We got to get a work chart.
So who's married? David,
David's married,
and he's
but
going to
leave his wife.
leave his wife when he gets the score.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's going to Mexico right after he turns the truck over to Steve and Kelly.
Okay.
And then Kelly's going to meet him in Mexico.
All right.
And Steve and Kelly will send him his share of the fortune after he arrives in Mexico.
bet
That's not
shows
happening. That's not happening. What are they gonna? Are they gonna send it to him by check?
A forged one.
Yeah. Could you imagine if he went to the bank and he was like,
$3 million
he was like,
signed Mr. Loomis Fargo.
God damn it! He double crossed me.
At the end of his shift, David leaves the vault door open slightly. He waits for the other employee to pull out of the parking lot and goes back inside. He begins loading carts full of bricks of cash into a Loomis van. One cart holds about $2 million. He cleans out the entire vault and loads approximately 8 carts into the van.
Holy shit! So he's got about 16 million there.
17.8 million.
True.
And the total weight of the stash is 2,748 pounds. Just kind of crazy to me.
2,000. Yeah, I
Is that a
think
ton?
More than a ton, yeah.
2,000. What's a ton? 2,000.
2,000, yeah. So he takes 2 sets of vault keys and removes 2 videotapes from the security VCRs in the manager's office. Unbeknownst to David, Steve has decided to include 2 other men, Eric Payne and Scott Grant, and will pay them $100,000 each for their help with the heist.
Oh, that's never good.
You don't even know that this is just the beginning. The group takes 3 separate cars and drives to a printing company where Eric works and is waiting to open the gate.
3 cars?
Yeah, they have like a convoy over to their next rendezvous.
Is anybody that wants to get in on this robbery is like in? They're like, oh, come on, man, you bring your car, you can get in on it.
We're going to pull a ton of money out of Loomis Fargo.
If they have 17 million, I mean, throwing a couple $100,000 to some people, but
Yeah.
you also don't want it to, have a school bus,
A
school bus or a clown car show up.
David exits the Loomis truck and leaves behind a gun and the 2 security tapes. He hands the keys to one man and takes a wad of cash. Eric, Scott, and Steve will unload the money into another unmarked van.
So, just quick question here. Why didn't dude just drive to Mexico? Why did he drive to Why didn't he just drive to Mexico? He has the van with the 17 million.
Because he's in a Loomis Fargo truck.
Well, he should have figured something else out. Like, this guy is overcomplicating this way too much. He could have had another car there and gone.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a lot of gas holding a ton.
Oh,
Well,
also
I mean-
maybe the weight does make a difference. Maybe those
Yeah.
vans are built to to
I mean,
cart weight.
I mean, maybe you only take two things. You know, you only take. You don't take all 17 million. You take 4 million.
What kind of quality control does this place have? Just one guy's wandering around with the key?
And the other guy was a trainee. He was the only person with a trainee.
And there's no like timed lock or anything. Like
there is a timed lock, but he sets it for 3 days later, so it can't be opened without the keys before the timer goes off.
Oh, so he sets everything. So he locks everything, sets everything.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would figure though, like if you weren't locked up by a certain time, they would like call you. Like, they would be like...
Yeah, I know, you'd think. So Steve plans to abandon the Loomis truck once it's unloaded. But the key ring David gave them contains 125 keys.
Oh, those old janitor key rings.
Oh my, are they sitting there are they testing each one of these things?
Yes. He did point out which key will open the van, but Scott lost track of which one it is. So they just have to try key after key.
Oh my God.
And the money is obviously still locked inside the Loomis van.
Now we got 5 dopes involved so far.
And there's 3 cars.
We got David, Kelly, Steve,
and there's just
Eric, and Scott.
So there's a whole gang of dudes hanging out around a Loomis cash truck, testing out different keys. Yeah. Jesus.
Where is this?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
Kelly drives David to Columbia Metropolitan Airport in South Carolina. But no one has accounted for the fact that the airport might be closed, which it is when they get there.
Why is it closed?
It's just a small airport that closes at night. By now, it's probably about 10 o'clock. So it's closed.
So they have like on security.
Nobody's checked to see when flights are leaving?
Yeah, was he just going to
And
get...
David didn't even buy a ticket. He just assumed that Kelly would have a ticket for him.
Was he just going to show... Like, how can she buy the ticket?
I don't know.
And
He
how-
thought
Are there any direct flights? Like, how do people just be like, yo, we're just going to show up? How did this guy get a job handling this much money?
Yeah,
what
he's in
screening
charge of
process
it.
do they have here?
I'm,
That this guy is
my
handling
brain
money?
is just like breaking down. Like, how does it... Oh my God. I don't know.
So Kelly doesn't feel like driving him to Atlanta, so she calls him a cab, drops him off at a Waffle House, and David takes a cab to a bus to Atlanta to catch a flight.
I would love them to piece this whole thing together like by cameras.
Oh.
And you see them like leave the plate, leave the place like where he dropped the van off, and then go to the airport and drive around a couple times and realize it's closed. And then she drops him off at the Waffle House. Like, it's like...
Does he leaves before they get into the van?
Yeah, he takes off. As soon as they have the keys in their hand, he leaves the truck with them and takes off.
Okay.
Why didn't he leave the door open?
I think it's probably a separate key for the front and the back. If there's 125, I mean, it's probably
there's
two separate keys.
Yeah.
Finally, the men unlock the Loomis van. Kelly calls Steve to remind him to remove the security tapes from it. And Steve passes that assignment on to Scott as they move the money from the Loomis van into the unmarked one. They pack it with as much money as they can in 55-gallon barrels, but it won't all fit in the vehicle. Since they don't...
Are they friends with Eric and Scott? How did these two guys hop on here?
They're friends with Steve. Steve invited them.
Steve just brought him along for the ride.
Yeah.
The bookie, check forger, loan shark guy. He's got a couple.
His
couple
boys.
of buddies.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Since they don't want money visible in case they get pulled over, Steve decides to leave behind millions of dollars in ones and fives.
He's taking ones and fives.
He's leaving those. They're leaving those behind.
That's what they stole? Like, this guy took...
No, they took everything from the van.
No, there's got to be a lot of ones and fives.
No, I mean, like, the original guy, Steve.
Yeah, no, that's the original guy is David.
David, the original guy,
Yeah.
he... Just take the 20s and the hundreds, man. Leave the ones and fives.
Yes.
Like, that's why it's 2,700 fucking pounds.
Right.
Because it's probably $10 million in ones.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
This guy David, is he just like all relaxed on a bus, thinking everything's going
Yeah.
perfectly
yeah, I guess so. And now after the airplane disaster, he's probably like, oh, well.
Now I'm on a bus.
He's like, okay, awesome. At least I'm on the bus now. Doesn't realize this
This whole thing is happening.
Yeah, this shit show going on. Is this just on? Like, this is just on like a road too. Like,
well, no, this whole transfer happens in a warehouse area, a district where there's warehouses. It's at night.
Okay.
Eric works there, so he lets them into a parking lot, and they take care of this sort of a semi-private spot.
Okay.
Steve and Scott leave the Loomis van about a mile from their rendezvous point. Scott jumps out without shutting the van off or taking the videotapes and locks the door.
Oh my God.
Steve had planned to leave the van in an operable state to possibly tempt someone else into taking the van and the extra cash so that it would just be taken away. Someone else would get caught with the van. Instead...
Like a trap car. Like a trap
Yeah.
city.
Yeah, it's not bad. But
now the car is running with the keys in the ignition and they can't get back in. So they just have to leave it running.
why wouldn't you smash a window and light it on fire or something? Like, that thing should be lit on fire. We can't get back in. Might as well just leave
just
the
fuck
run.
it.
We'll just fuck it. Leave
So,
the
you know,
running.
We haven't even hit the dumb yet.
Yeah. I mean, it would be every single sentence. Steve, Eric, and Scott then head to Steve's mobile home to count the stash, which totals $14 million.
So this bookie loan shark check forger lives in a mobile home?
Yeah.
Man, with his cronies. I'm thinking Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that,
yes.
but
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Bubbles and those guys.
Steve's wife, Michelle, has ripped apart one of the mattresses in their children's bedroom and plans to hide the money there. But once the mattress is full, it's too heavy to move.
Now Michelle's in on this too?
Yeah, Michelle's
my
in on it
God.
too.
How many people are involved in
And
this?
in the book, they're like, she runs around. She's like, I love all this money. She is just into it. She's into it from the get-go.
It's like everybody in this town is involved in this robbery.
And David Gann is just confidently sleeping on a bus. Being like, this is the greatest plan ever. What could go wrong?
Yeah, he's like, I crushed it. I crushed it.
I left everything behind with people I don't know.
Yeah, I left $17 million behind with somebody I don't know. And he only took a stack?
He took $25,000.
What an idiot.
The next morning, Steve and Michelle moved the barrels full of money to a storage facility. And here comes the dumb. The next morning at Loomis Fargo, the company's manager notices that only 2 videotapes are missing. David didn't know there was a third, which is locked in a cabinet. So the FBI now has video of David unloading the vault.
Oh my
boy.
God. He's asleep on the Greyhound.
He is, he's in Dreamland. By now, he's like over Mexico somewhere, probably.
Yeah.
Though it's definitely a win for them, they also learn that the bill's serial numbers are unknown. So they can't track by the serial numbers.
Oh, okay.
In any case, David is charged with bank larceny on October 6th.
So, I mean, if these guys were any sort of competent,
Yeah.
like any of these 15 other people that are helping out, and this is like getting pinned on David, I would take like a mill and just bounce.
Yeah.
And be like, you know what, is this David guy? I would hide it in the woods somewhere.
I know.
And be like, yeah, it's him. I'm going to go tell on him.
Was he charged the same day?
Maybe it was the 7th. Maybe that's a typo on my part. It would have been like in the middle of the night, so it had to be the 7th. Sorry.
Less than
His
20.
plan is
So less than 24 hours. This
He's already
whole,
been charged.
Yeah.
this grand
He
plan.
hasn't even landed.
He might not even be on an airplane yet.
He might not. He might be going through security or something.
He's sitting at the Sbarro in the Atlanta airport.
Having some morning pizza.
I think I'll get the pepperoni and the sausage today.
Yeah.
Living
Some
large.
money in my
I'm
pocket.
feeling good.
Yeah.
Give me the large Coke.
Meanwhile, the Loomis truck, complete with the other 2 security tapes and $3.3 million in ones and fives, is found.
Who finds it? The cops?
I think someone who lived close by found it and called it in. Because of the complexity of the crime and the sheer volume of what's been stolen, the FBI concludes that David couldn't have done this on his own.
Oh man, if I'm that guy that finds that, like
I would not have called. I would have been breaking into that shit.
I would have tried to find something to get it. Like there's something is going on here. And then why is this all smashed? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 97. There's not a lot of cameras around.
No.
back
Yeah.
then.
And it was in the woods, I think. I mean, I would have definitely.
yes. Sir.
Tried to see what was inside.
Sir, why is there glass all around you?
Why are you bleeding?
There's claw marks at this door.
It doesn't take the FBI long to connect Kelly to David, since she's also a former Loomis employee, and several coworkers who are interviewed believe that David and Kelly were dating at some point, which isn't true. But Kelly leads David to believe that she's interested in him. When two agents visit her, Kelly says she doesn't know anything about the crime, but she also refuses to take a lie detector test.
Smart.
All right. I said also on October 6th here. I'm sure I meant the 7th.
This whole thing has happened in 10 to 11
in like
hours.
A vortex, some kind of time vortex.
Arrested 4 hours later, or there's a charge 4 hours later.
It's like the
pictures
future,
everywhere.
Sorry, everybody.
It's like the future. It's like we've abolished all lawyers, so like the justice system runs so fast now.
So on October 7th, Michelle, Steve's wife, visits a bank 6 miles from Loomis Fargo.
And tries to deposit $6.2 million in cash.
Oh, no, it's better. She asks the teller, how much cash can I deposit without you having to file paperwork?
What is that? $9,999 bucks?
Yes. She hands over $9,500 in cash and says, don't worry, it's not drug money.
It's not.
It's not. She's not lying. No lies were told.
Yeah.
And they probably got to be so crisp too. They're probably like brand
They're
new
all
bills.
stick together. So the teller, who clearly has a higher IQ than Michelle, reports the exchange as suspicious activity.
So, like, I mean, we would, like, when I worked as a bank teller a long time ago, and like they told you like it was like you had this like $10,000 limit. But if somebody came in and was like, here's 9,800, and like we would be like, this is fucking weird too.
Yeah.
Like if it got close.
Also, when you
like,
start out, like, how much how much can I give you without generating a paper trail? If someone says that,
she opens a duffel bag and there's like $6 million in there, and she just pulls out 10,000.
it's
like,
still in the cellophane.
Yeah. Here you go.
She's just going in and out. Like
Yeah.
60 times in a day.
And here comes more dumb.
Dumb.
Though Steve has told his quickly multiplying co-conspirators not to spend the money in ways that might attract attention, he and Michelle put in an offer on a $635,000, 7,000 square foot home. Remember, they're going from a mobile home.
He's dying to get out of that mobile home.
Man, that's a
Must
big
not
step.
have been a double wide.
That's like Goodfellas.
Yeah,
and
that's what
he buys the Cadillac, but it's in
And the fur coat.
But it's in my mother-in-law's name. It's in my mother-in-law's name. He's so.
It is. It reminded me so much of that sequence in Goodfellas.
When that one dude walks in and his wife's got the coat on, he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" He doesn't even get in like the door, and
Yep.
his wife's like, "What? Take it back! Get the fuck out of here!"
So Steve adds another man to the scheme.
Of course.
We're now
course he
at
does.
we're now at a co-conspirator count of 9. I stripped out a few details because it's too complicated. So this is Mike McKenney. He's the new guy. He has already given his birth certificate and social security number to Steve for David's escape. When Steve meets Mike and pays him the $50,000 he owes for his identity, Steve asks him if he's interested in killing someone for $250,000.
Hold on.
Whoa! I gotta
confused.
unpack this a little
Mike
bit.
McKenney shows up.
He's a new one.
Yep.
He
gave his birth certificate and social security number. Steve essentially bought it from Mike McKenney.
Gotcha.
Who believes that David is just some kind of like low-level drug dealer who needed to split the town.
Gotcha.
So David is traveling as Mike McKenney?
Yes.
Okay.
Steve pays Mike $50,000 for his identity.
Okay.
And then wants to hire him to kill someone for $250,000.
Okay.
And Mike agrees.
Okay. He's doing work.
So meanwhile in
Who's he killing? Michelle?
he's killing David.
Oh, all right.
Meanwhile, in Cancun, David spends his time eating, drinking, clubbing, jet skiing, fishing,
Why
etc.
not?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Does he know it's all gone south?
He has no idea.
Yeah, I guess there's no internet. He can't check it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He's just probably just waiting for his cash to show up.
Right. He calls Kelly every Tuesday to bug her about joining him in Mexico. She tells him she can't go just yet. Back in Charlotte, David's wife is completely floored by his disappearance and his crime.
Doesn't tell the wife?
No, he didn't tell her.
Wife was out. Remember, he was going to leave her behind.
Oh, yeah.
So when it's time for Steve and Michelle to close on their new home, Steve hauls $53,000 in money orders and $430,000 in cash into his lawyer's office.
Imagine, what are they, like 7-Eleven money orders? He's probably like at the
$53,000. How much can you get? What's the cap of a money order?
probably like $10,000.
Maybe.
Is it? No idea.
I have no idea. Imagine being on like 4th and Market with 50 grand at that 7-Eleven and asking them to print out
That little check cashing place with the bulletproof windows.
Yeah. Excuse me, ma'am. I need $5 million in $1,000 money orders.
So Jeff Guller, the lawyer, advises Steve.
It says a quick Google search says domestic money orders can't be more than $1,000.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
He really ruined some teller's day.
Oh my God, 50 money orders. No paper.
Oh, yes. I mean, they could maybe miss one money order, but they're not going to miss 50 in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
They might come in here and print out 50 money orders.
Can you keep
For $1,000?
Yeah.
Can you keep him there? He's going to be here a while.
Yeah.
He's getting 50.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I'm fucking pissed. He's making me do this.
$50,000 money orders.
So Jeff Guller, the lawyer, advises Steve to either pay by check or report the source of the funds. So obviously Steve decides to pay by check and asks if he can leave the cash in Jeff's office. And Jeff agrees. So there's $430,000 sitting around in a lawyer's office.
Well, what could go wrong?
Better call Saul. Mm-hmm. Hope some.
Wait, how's he writing a check without depositing
That's
the
what
money?
I mean. Yeah.
He hasn't. We'll get to that.
He's
There's
floating it?
plans. There's plan. He
He's
works
a check
out a system.
forger.
He is.
Yeah.
So I wonder if his lawyer knows that.
He's like, all I had to do was write a check.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, that's the other thing.
I'll write
If
12
you were-
checks.
If he was like, I'm your lawyer, dude. I know you're a check forger.
That's what I was going to say. This is the guy who represented him as a check forger, and he's like, "Go get a check."
I can't take your checks, man. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I'll give you 12. I got. Write you checks for days.
Yeah.
Steve then begins asking Jeff for advice on how to spread out his cash and kind of dilute where the funds are going. And Jeff suggests making bank deposits of fewer than $10,000 at a time. So Michelle also works to pay for the house with a check. She goes to a bank with $200,000 in cash to get a bank check. But instead of handing it over, the teller also reports more suspicious activity. And here comes more dumb.
Dum dum dum.
Steve figures it's time to let more people know that he's got mountains of cash.
my God.
Of course, he can't keep his mouth shut.
No, this guy's a
Yeah,
problem.
Yeah, real problem.
Yeah. So now he employs his friends and family to make deposits for him and deliver checks back to him with sizable payments for each of them to sweeten the deals.
How much money was he loaning out as a loan shark? He seems pretty strapped for cash.
I know.
He's seen. I don't know how he's not arrested
Being a
already.
bookie,
With
he's
everybody,
like the poorest bookie.
everybody
He's a loan
knows
shark.
who he is.
He has an arrest record, so he might be on the tail end of the bookie stuff. Like, he might not be doing it.
He's a horrible criminal. Like, everybody knows his business. Like, he involves everybody.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah. He asks, like, I think his mother-in-law, he asks her to do it. He asks everybody around him.
So he's just basically like, hey, I'll give you like $6,000. You deposit it and give me $5,000 back, and we're good.
He's spreading the wealth.
It's not bad.
In Jeff's office, the bags of money are bothering an employee. At the end of October...
I hope they take them. I
Yeah.
hope they just steal them.
I mean,
What's this employee's problem?
yeah, if I was the employee, I would just.
Why
I
would
would just.
bags in your boss's office bother you?
I'd steal that money. It's probably in like Acme bags.
I mean, if you have like an overachieving young lawyer who's like, this isn't right, this is ethically wrong, we shouldn't have all this cash here, and they know there was a heist. So at the end of October, they
I
were...
thought she just didn't like the clutter the way you made it. The bags were driving her nuts.
sorry.
This
Yeah.
clutter.
She just wet her beak a little bit.
Yeah.
Take some.
At the end of October, they report that Steve is stowing large amounts of cash there.
Who do they report that to?
FBI. There's a tip line.
That's a problem.
Other tips trickle in too. The FBI learns about Steve and Michelle's new home, Eric Payne's purchase of a Chevy Tahoe, and bags of money in Steve's house that are so heavy he can't lift them.
This guy's got. You should see the bags of money this guy got. He can't even lift them.
By this time, the FBI is able to begin phone surveillance, and once they have access to Steve's phone activity, his calls to Eric tie the two together. When the FBI begins surveilling Kelly, agents note that she has a new car, and when they track her purchase, they find out that it was made with a false social security number and a name Steve used to use when he was cashing bad checks.
Oh, Steve. Old habits.
You used to give your social security number to buy a car?
I don't know. I
mean,
mean,
maybe you do, but if she was
that was
paying
part of the evidence. I don't
she
know.
was like paying cash,
Maybe
maybe
she
she
had a
just
loan,
put some
maybe.
like bullshit down.
Yeah. I think it was a cash purchase. That might have been why she had to
and
do
then
that.
there's just like whatever.
Though David's mostly enjoying life in Mexico, he wants his full share of the money. So he pesters Kelly some more. She assures him that someone is on his way to Cancun to deliver cash to him. Okay. Mike, the hitman, travels to Mexico to kill David. Go ahead.
So so all these other guys are in the process of getting arrested, and Mike is still going through with this hit.
No one's been arrested yet.
But they're being investigated and everything.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
they're
the
wiretaps and all
Yes,
that. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He brings some money along for David in case he can't execute the job for whatever reason. Steve was like, if you run into him and it doesn't seem ideal, you can just hand him some cash. He's supposed to meet David at a restaurant, but doesn't recognize him, so he just goes back to North Carolina without doing anything.
And
hitman returned.
And surprise, he doesn't know where the cash went.
Yeah, right? He's like, oh, I left that behind too.
So he goes down there, doesn't know what he doesn't recognize
Does he
him,
know where he's
and then
staying? Is he just wandering around the town?
He's supposed to meet him in a restaurant, and David's waiting for him, and Mike couldn't find him in the restaurant.
So this guy travels from North Carolina to Cancun, Mexico, and can't find the guy, and then just turns around and goes home.
Yeah.
And he's looking for himself,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Just ask around. Anyone see a Mike McKinney? Is Mike McKinney
It's
here?
true.
Yeah.
It's
Hey.
true. So a few days after that, he goes back to Cancun and delivers
man.
$8,500 to David at his hotel.
He is looking for himself. I forgot about that whole thing. That's crazy.
So then he went home and then came back, and then he found him and gave him $8,500.
Yeah.
Just 8,500?
Yeah, and David's pissed. Like, he thought he was going to get a big payout.
I'm sure. He should have been like, dude, this is $8,500 for me killing you.
Yeah. Of course, David complains to Kelly. She tells him there's been a change of plans. David will travel with Mike first to Playa del Carmen and then elsewhere to put more distance between himself and the crime. Mike and David end up bonding while they travel, and Mike's shocked when he learns why David is really on the run. He thought David was a low-level drug dealer who'd shot someone, but when he realizes the magnitude of his crime, Mike tries to cover his ass by hiring a local to kill David for him.
Oh, man.
What the fuck? There's like 30 people involved in this. You're going to need a second piece of paper.
You need a new pad.
So when the local man meets with David, he lets David know he's in danger. Tips can.
You want to kill this guy, David? Yeah, sure, I'll do it. Hey, David,
You're in
somebody hired me to kill you.
You'd be like, wait a minute. They hired you to kill Mike McKinney. That dude's Mike McKinney.
that
The
guy.
guy's all confused. The Mexican hitman is super confused. These two white dudes called each other Mike McKinney.
They both have the same ID,
Yes.
same birth certificate,
Yeah.
same everything,
Yeah.
except the picture's different.
Right. Just kills both of them.
So tips continue to roll in for the FBI. Steve has asked a friend to take $1.2 million to the Cayman Islands.
Another friend.
How's he getting it there?
I don't
You're
know.
not going to get that on a plane.
They make these like janky ass money belts out of like pantyhose or something. That's how he got his $25,000 David got his $25,000 to Mexico. But this guy's going to take $1.2 million to the Caymans. I don't know.
I guess maybe 97's pre 9/11.
You're still going through metal detectors though.
Yeah, but money's not metal.
Yeah, but if people are watching you walk around and you're walking around like this, or something drops down your pant leg, you're kind of in trouble.
Yeah, I know. Just wondering if it's probably much easier then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They've also identified Michelle's schedule for depositing money, which is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week at the same bank.
$999 $9,999 every Monday, Wednesday,
99
Friday.
cents.
Yeah.
One day, the agents watch the teller accept the cash and throw away a band that holds the bills together. When they retrieve the band and share it with Loomis, they confirm that the signature on the band is that of a Loomis employee, so they know it's the money.
So they didn't reband anything. They're just taking like the stacks
with
out.
a handwritten signature on it of somebody not involved
so
in this
when
whole
you
thing.
when you used to pack money up, like when you put your thing on it, you would have to like sign it because like in case it was short, like they knew who to come back with. You would have to. Why wouldn't you just restrap all of that?
She's also, I mean, she might be the biggest nitwit of this whole thing.
Oh man, this. Yeah, it looks like Pepe Sylvia over there.
Kelly must be getting paranoid because she arranges to talk to David on a payphone. But since Kelly's phone is tapped, agents know which payphone she'll be at and have that tapped too. On the call, Kelly and David discuss another money drop. After she finally tells David she's not sure about going to Mexico at all, she calls Steve to tell him where David is. Now the FBI knows that David's life is in danger, and they send an agent to Mexico to find him.
I was going to say, why aren't they making an arrest yet? They have all of this, right? Like, they have all the evidence. They know, like, why aren't they arresting all these people?
I think they want David Gant. So they're not going to arrest anybody
until they get
him. Because if he knows that other people have been arrested, he'll flee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Steve must also be getting paranoid because he meets Mike in a hotel room, which is also bugged. And they discuss the details of the plot to kill David. When David calls Kelly again to whine some more, the FBI traces the call and passes David's location onto the agent on the ground in Mexico. And on March 1st, 1998, David Gant is taken into FBI custody.
They could just show up in Mexico and arrest you?
They were with Interpol.
Oh, all right.
The next morning, Steve and Michelle's house is raided and they are arrested. When the FBI searches their home, they recover stashes of money and keys to numerous safety deposit boxes. The search leads them to $9.8 million in recovered funds.
Man, bury it. You should have buried something out in the woods somewhere.
They buried $150,000 like yards from their mobile home.
That's dumb. You got to go out somewhere.
Should have put it under the Loomis truck.
Shit's heavy, bro.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, you get all that stuff. Like, you're eventually, probably going to get out and bury that shit somewhere in the. I mean, at least like a couple 100,000.
I know.
So you can go back and get it and be stupid again with it.
Well, there's also another part that I kind of stripped the whole thing out because it was too much, but he shared the keys to a storage facility with someone else and they took everything in there. It was $1 million and then somebody else took the money. This was another person who was not involved in the original heist.
And did they get away?
Yeah, they got the money. Steve went back to the storage facility and the money was gone.
Did they eventually get caught, this person?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, man. Somebody at some point along this way should have been able to make out with some free money and not get caught.
I know. So Eric, Mike, and Kelly are arrested at about the same time that Steve and Michelle are. And once Steve is in custody, he names everyone. Kelly, Eric, Scott, David, Jeff, and everyone who helped him hide and deposit money.
He's such a badass with that forger loan shark bookie. Immediately flips.
In all, 21 co-conspirators are eventually charged.
Oh my God. What does David get?
Well, we'll get to it.
Oh my God. 21 people?
21 people. All plead guilty, mostly for bank larceny and money laundering, and those in the outer rings of the scheme are mostly sentenced lightly to probation or house arrest.
So the people who that were taking like the money from him, and
doing him favors, depositing it.
Okay.
They definitely did not get. They got very light sentences.
Okay.
Lawyer Jeff Guller goes to trial and is found guilty of 5 counts of money laundering and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Why are you going to trial? You're a lawyer. Yeah. You should know.
I mean, is he just, I guess at that point, like, you got to fight it because he's going to be disbarred,
yeah,
right?
He was disbarred. Yeah. He's sentenced to 8 years.
Oh.
Steve takes a plea for bank larceny, conspiracy to murder for hire, and money laundering, and is sentenced to 11 years and 3 months. He and David are also each fined $3.8 million in restitution. David pleads guilty to bank larceny and money laundering and is sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. Michelle
Chambers.
Chambers.
Less than the lawyer?
Yep.
Did the lawyer get more, you think, because he
knowingly kind of aided and abetted?
Yeah,
I think
that's got a like a judge. I could see being.
Yeah, less than Steve too, didn't he?
No, Steve had 11.
Yeah, David had less than Steve.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wasn't around for all the hiding. I mean, he just split.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was just hanging out.
Michelle Chambers is fined $4.8 million and gets 7 years and 8 months. Kelly Campbell is fined $4.7 million and gets 5 years and 10 months. And in 2015, a movie about the heist, Masterminds, is released. It stars Zach Galifianakis, Owen Wilson, Kristen Wiig, and Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh man, did I see that?
I mentioned it to someone else, and they were like, "Oh, that movie Masterminds." I'm like, I never even heard of that movie until this.
Oh man, I may have seen that because I don't know. It sounded a little. Yeah, these people are idiots. These people are idiots. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. Like, the larger the conspiracy, the worse it's going to get. Like, why wouldn't you just
keep it to the 3 people?
Dave, you should have just taken the money yourself. He had the whole thing. Like, nobody's watching him. He could have set that thing for 3 days, taken $3-4 million. He's in Mexico.
Yeah,
he needs someone to send him the money.
He also thought him and Kelly were going to go live a great life in Mexico. I think that's really what was at the root of it. Was like Kelly telling him she was going to move down there.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Yeah, you would have to like drive down. Like the driving, you couldn't do that.
I'm sure they'd
like to
get
take
lost.
that money and all that.
Like what's he gonna buy? A new house? His wife's gonna be entitled to half his shit. He's not divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dopes.
stupid.
Dopes. They're all dopes. Too much dumb to dumb. This whole thing was full of it. They're dopes. 21 people. I mean, if Zach Galifianakis is portraying you probably did something stupid.
Yeah.
That's very true. And Owen Wilson.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're funny guys.
Yeah, they're
Funny
amazing.
guys.
Funny guys.
Funny guys.
Zach played David Gant, and Owen Wilson played Steve Chambers.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I could see Zach down in Cancun partying it up.
All right, Jason, tell people where to find us.
You know where to find us. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff. And as always, like, subscribe, share with your friends, rate, review, do all that stuff. Back to Greg.
It's time.
Get to know Maria. Get to know her.
Hey, Maria, if you could travel to any place, anytime, where and when would you go?
Any place, anytime.
Yes.
I really want to go to Tokyo next. I mean, I want to go everywhere. I can't narrow
like a
it
time
down.
travel.
Time
like
travel.
A time travel.
Oh,
Time and
I'm
place.
such an idiot. I was like, I thought you meant like Tokyo in the spring.
Oh, no.
Tokyo in the spring, I hear is
I
beautiful.
mean, it's nice. Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm sure it's good.
Yeah. In the spring?
I
I went in
think
the fall.
All right.
I would go to 1920s Berlin.
Well, that's a good.
Yeah, that's good. What's
is
going on in
good.
1920s Berlin?
There's just like a lot of debauchery, all the cabaret stuff. It was before Germany was under Hitler. It's like like an artistic paradise there in the 20s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Auf Wiedersehen.
I guess so. Interesting. All right, Maria. Thanks. Hey, thanks for spending your time with us on another episode of Dumbline. See you soon.
See ya, everybody.
Bye, dummies.
Check it easy.
Auf Wiedersehen.